Alrighty, hi there guys, my name's Action Dan and welcome to my next video. Now this video is one I've been thinking about and dying to do for over a year now, and that's one of the most fun and entertaining things I've ever done in Vegas Pro over the last 10 years. I've been dying to share it with you, and that's green screen backgrounds. If you remember way back in the days of Mary Poppins, they called it blue screen back then, but you know those weird scenes where they get the human beings and chuck them in with the cartoon characters and you wonder, how the hell did they put the real people on top of the cartoon and stuff like that? Well, that's what I'm going to show you guys how to do. You can put up a green screen shield behind you and pick something cool, artificial background like awesome New York City apartment block building on the 23rd floor with all these beautiful lights and stuff around you. Not that I've ever done that. So anyways, we'll get straight into it and I'll show you nerds how to play with green screen right after my intro.
Action Dan, the greatest hero of them all.
Okay, so let's start the video. Very first thing we do is open up our new Vegas Pro project. And now we're going to get ourselves more columns to edit with video and audio than we need. So right click on the bar over here, insert video, video. So for this one, I tried to think of the biggest stereotype to give an example of green screen. And I thought, well, they actually used to call it blue screen. And I think the world's first major motion picture to play around with the color in the background and delete it, I think that was Mary Poppins. But they didn't use green screen, which is the most common one today. They used blue. So I'm gonna go get a scene from Mary Poppins. Okay, so I found my 2 bits and pieces, and it's a scene from Mary Poppins. And then recently I was babysitting my friend's 2 little girls, and to entertain them with my personal hobbies, I thought, hey, let's combine green screen with babysitting, and the girls loved it. So first off, I won't need the audio of them chit-chatting, so you can either grab that bar there and turn it down to nothing, remove all the sound, and then you can bring it back up if you made a mistake and you want to use it again in the future, or you can right-click and delete, or like I'm going to do, I'm just going to delete the column altogether. And I'll keep the Mary Poppins background audio in case I want to play it in a preview or show to you guys or something, but I will lower it to nothing so it's not distracting me while I'm talking to you. So let's watch the Mary Poppins scene now. Snap, everything is perfect. And then it goes to the 2 little kids. So I'll pause it there. Now I'm going to work out what I'm going to do with the 2 little girls. I'm going to put the 2 little girls' heads on top of their heads and show you what the whole idea of green screen is about. If you've just watched this video randomly and you're thinking, what is green screen even for? Well, you want to film yourself like these girls here with a bright green screen in the background, and then you pick one color without any other colors to remove, and then you can pick your background like clouds and you fly like Superman. Now these pop-up green screens like this one I'm using aren't the best. This is a cheap one I got off the internet, but I thought the average person watching this video, no offense, is probably a person starting out and isn't going to have the wallet to start with the best equipment. So I'll use some cheap equipment, and I'll use some poor or mid-level examples of lighting so that you will have the exact same effects and things you need to work with to solve the problem. Now, one thing I taught myself after the first couple of times I tried doing a green screen effect is you're going to remove a color, and you want the color to be as even as possible so that you remove that color not just from the background but from the people you're filming as little as possible. You go over to video effects and you grab this one here, Chroma Key, drag it and drop it on top of the video piece that you want to use the effect with. So I'm going to drop it anywhere along here, and now the menu for the effect has popped up, and as I play with this menu you'll see the effects taking place on your preview screen. Now the default color that they've decided to use for removing a particular color is what it used to be back in Mary Poppins days, blue. But the best color to use in the background, and all the movies, the modern movies they do it these days, is actually green. And that's because you want to remove the least used color in your videos completely, so that the remaining video quality is the best and the least noticeable effect. Okay, so step 1, remove the tick box. When the tick box is there, it means the effect is taking place. If I left the tick box there and then I clicked on this and said, grab this eyedropper and I want you to match this color here, it wouldn't fully have its effect because the blue has already been removed somewhat from this background. This is your low threshold and your high threshold. I have selected a form of green, but it's a very dark green. So when I click on apply. It's been applied, but the girls have also turned into ghosts. And I need to play with the minimum of this color, and what's before this color on a color bar is kind of like the first one, and then what's after that color on a color bar, bright and dark, you pick how much you want to get rid of. And you see, if I bring this one down, the girls become more clear, but now the original color is returning and it's not transparent. So what you want to do when you select your color, try and select it very carefully. How you do that is you look, what is the number one overall color you want to delete? And I think, so we've got a bright green here, we've got a medium green here, bit of a triangle, and we have a very dark green here. So I would say the middle of the color range I want to delete is about here. Now click on tick box to apply the effect, and a lot has disappeared. And now I'm going to play around with these two bars, and I'll put it in fast forward, and I'm going to try and use as minimal of these two bars as possible to delete that color range and keep everything else. So I'll put it in fast forward now. Okay, so now I've finished removing the variations, the types of green I want to get rid of, the color range. Oh, it's actually not too bad. See, it's removed the green screen entirely. But normally what I was going to show you is when you have a color range that you've selected to delete, when you do the before and after, you can see that your person, your object, I'll just say the girls from now on, the girls' color of their clothing and skin would change dramatically, but I've done a pretty good job. So I've removed the green screen entirely, but you can't even tell the difference in the original colors that have remained because the range of what colors that are being deleted is very small, and that's what you want. Okay, so now step 2. Now, step 2 isn't always needed. If you have I'll just remove the effects so you can understand a bit better what I'm talking about. So this is an average Joe green screen effect that's been applied. It's a simple pop-up green screen and it has uneven colors. And I told you that you'll find the whole thing much easier if you have good lighting, but I thought I will tell them what I'm talking about with their form of lighting they're probably using if you're watching this video. And that is average Joe quality with an average Joe cheap pop-up. If you want to make the whole job better quality and much easier, get one of those gigantic green curtain things you hang from your wall. That way you won't have these messy bits you need to cut out in the background, and the whole background of the people you're filming, and you'll be able to film their entire bodies, will all have a green screen, and you'll be able to delete all of the background instead of just part of it. Now, to get rid of the remaining background that's not green screen, I can't pick a color and I can't delete it. I'm just going to cut it out. So remember here, like playing cards, whatever level is on top is what you can see, and what is underneath is what you cannot see. So I'm going to get this layer on top, which I'm going to call the playing card of the girls, and I can't see the playing card of Mary Poppins underneath. And I'm going to click on this one here, and now I'm going to get my scissors out and I'm going to cut out this part of the playing card on top in cream, and I'll just make it disappear, and then you'll be able to see the playing card underneath of the remaining scene of Mary Poppins. It's called mask, so you click on this one here, and you make sure that when you have clicked somewhere randomly on the video piece you're working on, see how this moved a bit? Now you want this effect of what you're cutting out, you want it to start immediately, not somewhere randomly along the video scene. So go back to the very start of the video scene. This confused me in the early days, I didn't understand why. So now I'm on the first frame of the scene I want to edit. Now these two tools here are the dot points you're going to introduce to trace an outline around what you want to keep and what you want to get rid of. And this is to add the dot points. So if I click on this one and do something really quick, I've made a square, and I've chosen positive, which means I want to use what's inside the square. Now what I want to use inside the square isn't part of the video file, so that means you've pretty much said I wish to use nothing here, and none of the girl's green layer has been used, and Mary Poppins underneath has appeared. If I drag this down, grabbing the pointer, see? Now some scenes I wish to use are being displayed, and it says, oh, I want to use the girl's head. There you go, there's part of the girl's head. And if you've made a mistake, you can grab the pointer, click away, and then click back in the corner, one of the markers. I'll click on this marker and I'll drag it out. And now whatever is inside the outline starts to appear. Anchor creation, I'll just say positive and negative anchors. And now I'm going to make this bigger so you can see better. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to do a pretty quick outline around the edge of the green screen to delete what I don't want to keep. Okay, so next step, now that I've removed the green screen background from behind the girls and I've removed the unwanted background I don't wish to use, this is positive, it means I want to use everything in here. If I go negative mode, it will use everything outside. So it's saying, what, you want to use the cream walls? Okay, we'll put the cream walls from this layer, we'll let them remain, and they'll go on top of Mary Poppins. So there you go, there's the cream walls and they're on top of Mary Poppins. If I go positive, it says, oh, you just want to use what is in the area you've selected and not what's behind it. That's negative. So the girls are there, they're on top of Mary Poppins now. After you've removed the color you wanted to get rid of, the remaining... I've got a fucking rubbish truck going past in the background. I don't know if you can hear it. I'm just going to stand here and stare at the wall for a bit. Okay, my annoying rubbish truck outside my house is gone. Let's get back to it. So now I'm going to add effects. Click on here and go add plus, new effects. And I'm going to do brightness and contrast, hold control. And I'm going to click on color corrector secondary and go add the effects, then go OK. You saw them pop up here. Go OK. And now those two effects have appeared up here. Now, before I start playing around with those, I know there's going to be some know-it-all in the background that says, no, you don't click on color corrector secondary, you click on like normal color corrector. I've seen a YouTube video. Well, when they bring out a different version of Vegas Pro, they change everything. So there's 6 different ways of doing everything, at least 6 different ways of changing brightness, 6 different ways of changing color. These are my 2 favorite and the ones that I think have great effects but are very easy to use.
Goddamn right.
So I'm going to add brightness and contrast and color corrector secondary. Now I'm going to start here and I'm going to look at the previous screen as I slide these around, and I'm going to see if I can make it look any better than what I started with. They're a little bit dark. So I'm going to put this in fast forward and do 1 or 2 laps, moving all of these around and play with those. Then come back if you're a beginner and do it a second time. And then when you're finished, I'll show you what you do next. So I'm going to put it in fast forward. Okay, so I'm all done. I'm just going to do 1 lap because I'm happy with what it looks like. Now, if you're not sure if what you've done it looked better before you started and you think you've clicked on too many things and made too many mistakes, and you're like, I don't know what to do, I can't go back 47 times that I did stuff, what you can do is you can just choose if you want to keep the effect or not. So I'm going to play with these one at a time and I'm going to see if it looked better before I even started. So removing this one. Yep, funnily enough, I'd say just by very good luck, it just about looks better the first time before I even started fiddling. Now I'll go to this one. In this situation, it looks a tiny bit better if I keep the effect. This one's been made a bit brighter and it's removed some of the color from the girls, what they're wearing. But even though I think that looks a tiny bit better, their skin's a bit dark. Not because they're black, the scene. But in the scene I'm going to put it in, I know it's quite a bright scene, so I will keep that effect, and maybe I will just bring down the gamma a smidge. Okay, so that looks good now, so I'm all done. Okay, so that's the end of it. Step 2. So step 1, get your green color you want and pick a minimum range as possible, make the green disappear. Step 2, touch up what you have left over, play around with the color saturation, the brightness, the contrast, and make what's the remaining colors that haven't been cut out, make them look as good as possible, and it won't have effect on your green screen. And that's about it. I hope you guys watched this and found it useful, and now you know how to fiddle around with chroma key green screen and do some of your own fiddling. I hear some of you saying, but like, what's the point of doing all that? Well, you should know before you come here, you've probably decided you want to put like a green tablecloth on top of your table, get some good lighting, lie down on top of your tablecloth, and, you know, pretend you're Superman with your arms and legs in the air. And then when you remove the green tablecloth, it's just your body outline floating in the air. And then you go download a video scene where you have, I'll put it up on the screen as I'm talking, like clouds flying past or something like that, and put your Superman layer of yourself on top of it. And there you go, you're Superman. But for anyone out there who's not sure, I'll go into an extra step, step 3, and I'll show you how I could use this possibly in a video scene in the Mary Poppins movie, and how you can make it look a little bit more real. So I'm going to bring the display of the girls that I edited down to nothing, and I'm going to play the Mary Poppins movie until it gets to a scene where you're looking at the kids. Snap, everything's just perfect. So I'll pause it there. So now I'm going to drag across the scene of the girls, And I'm going to bring them back to 100%. Now I'm going to click on this one here, Event Pan Crop, and I'm going to click on not the mask. I'm going to go up to that one, click on that one, and that's going to change the entire aspect of the video piece. So I'm going to move it around to make the girls bigger, and I'm going to line up this little girl's head with his. Make her head a tiny bit bigger. And maybe I'll tilt it on a mild angle to match him a bit better. Okay, so there we go. It's not perfect, but you get the idea. I can zoom in if I want to be more precise with the mouse wheel. Now when I move, it moves very slowly instead of suddenly. Alright, so she's blocking the little boy's head well there. That's good enough. It's not perfect, but you just want a quick video, don't you? Now zoom out. Now next, I'm going to do a quick outline trace, a mask layer down here. So click on mask, grab my add tool, add anchors, and I'm going to go dot, 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 dot. And I'm going to cut her head off. Sorry. So this outline is a positive outline, which means you want to use everything that's in here, the original one. And this one would also be a positive outline because I just want to use her head. This will confuse people when they say, but it didn't cut out what's outside. Yeah, because of what I just said, because I already chose I wanted to use this and this. So I have to get the pointer and I have to click on this layer and I have to turn it into negative. And now this one is default, a positive mode. So now I'm only using this and not the whole thing I did beforehand. You can go back and forth and turn them on and off. See, I can click on this one and then I'll go negative and I can cut her head off. But the example is the opposite. So click on this one and turn that one to negative, and this one remains here positive. And by really good coincidence, it's cut out pretty good right from the beginning. But I'm going to zoom in and tune it a little bit. So see how her neck with the dot points I put in actually lines up with the movie character little boy's head quite well. But I'm going to try and make it better. So zoom in and grab your pointer and click on one of these dots and drag them up or down one at a time and line them up. So I'm just going to line this up with the bottom center of his shirt above his yellow tie. And then the next one, I'm not going to be precise. Actually, I might just put it in fast forward so you don't got to watch this. Okay, so now I've finished doing the cutting. I've changed the outline so it's more precise with the guy's shirt, and it looks hilarious. Okay, so there you go. So I've just very quickly just done a very basic outline. You can always click on this, add anchors, and you can put in lots more dot points to make it more precise. But this is just a quick example video of what you're going to use green screen for. I won't make it perfect, and you see that's quite funny. It's hilarious. So now when we play the video, she's going to move around and you'd have to go through it frame by frame and you'd have to fix it up. See, when she moves around you can't see what's there anymore because it's outside the outline. But anyways, it's funny. Chucked her head on top of Mary Poppins. Hope someone had fun watching this video, and now you know how to play around with green screen. If I helped anyone out, please do me the favor, click on that like button, click on subscribe, and you'll see one of my crazy tutorial videos next time. See you guys.
Action time, the greatest hero of them all.
If you'd like to watch another one of my tutorial videos, click on the link on the left. If you'd like to watch one of my random outdoor adventures, click on the link on the right.